In continuing on the Romans Revelations on Righteousness, the Triple R series, we are once again back in Romans 8. Romans 8 is such an important chapter because really the entire book of Romans build up to Romans 8, and everything after Romans 8 is a result, a consequence of Romans 8. So to understand the book of Romans better, focus on Romans 8 and understand that Romans 8 is to the book of Romans what the Gospels are to the entire Bible. When we start to understand that the entire Bible, everything before the four Gospels, everything in the Old Testament leads up to the four Gospels, and everything after that is the application, the explanation, the living out, the because the four Gospel happens. If we understand that, then we will start to understand the word of the Lord in its full context. So once again, Romans 8 is to the book of Romans what the four Gospels are to the Bible. And we have read in Romans 8 verse 11, but if the Spirit of Him who raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you, and if you can say He does, then just say it. He does dwell in me. And remember, He doesn't sit in you, but He dwells in you. He who raised Christ from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies. Remember, all these instruments of my body that are now instruments of righteousness, He will give life to our mortal bodies through His Spirit who dwells in us. Now, if you remember these four phases well, you will do well to always live in an abundance of life and energy. Number one, we see that the Holy Spirit gives us that energy. But number two, there are times when we need to rest. There are times when we need to spend time preparing. There are times that we need to celebrate. There are times that we need to get out and do it. And I'm going to show you how these cycles work. They are mini cycles even in our day. They are cycles in our week. They are cycles that can flow on a quarterly basis and an annually basis and even beyond that. These four things, by the Holy Spirit, you need to have them in harmony, in balance, and you will always be fresh. Because remember that the Christian walk isn't a 100-meter dash, it is a marathon. So here we go with the four phases. Phase number one, we need to prepare well. Take preparation very, very seriously. For whatever you do, whether it's a meeting, whether you go out to minister, we need to be constantly in preparation. Now, the more hope you have in your life, the more vision you have, the more you have activated that God ability to dream, the more you will prepare. Someone who doesn't believe about anything in the future also won't prepare for the future, because why bother? But he who truly believes about great things to come for him, because he believes what God says about him in Jeremiah 29 verse 11, where he says, for I have plans for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans of a hope and a future. Those who truly have a burning hope, a glorious vision in their spirit, they will prepare. And so preparation is very important. Find the way that works for you to prepare. Earlier, I would prepare by writing a lot, but I have seen that there's a time when I write, when I study, but the most important preparation that I have is often, especially in intense times, when I'm flat on my back, on my bed, and I'm just relaxing, I'm just in my mind, I'm starting to see that what will come, or I'm sitting in the car driving, or I'm walking, or I'm doing sport, or I'm in different physical settings, but in my spirit, I am preparing for that which is coming, because I start to see what the Lord is showing me. I start to experience that prophetically, what is coming. I start to sense it in my spirit. I start to see it. It becomes clear to me. And I receive revelation, and I digest that revelation. That preparation in the spirit, which is glorious, is so important in your life. Prepare, prepare, prepare. But then secondly is execute. You need to go and do. You need to go and fight. You need to go and do the thing that you've prepared for. Many people are having a lack of success because although they have prepared well, when they start to execute, they are just late. And I have seen, if you take in sports, I play tennis, for example. If you just react a split second late, then the best shot will be a mess up. You need to be proactive, execute on time. So this is very, very, very important. A time comes when you should stop preparing and start doing. And we will continue with that in the next session.